ahead and kick the work session off. Thanks for being here on Groundhog Day. We've learned that apparently there's 6 more weeks of winter because the shadow in Pennsylvania was shown. Obviously, there was no shadow in Georgia, so if had he just been here, we'd been good. But we'll open up and go through department head updates and then any general discussion. And then move from there. We will announce in our regular meeting at 5:30. Not the next meeting, we'll have our second meeting in February, but the first meeting in March, on the first Thursday, which is March the 2nd, we're gonna actually cancel the work session and board meeting on that Thursday. There's an ACCG training class that day. So we will not have a meeting the first Thursday in March. We will have our third Thursday in March meeting. So we'll put that out. We'll make sure it's broadcast and publicized, but we'll make sure everybody's aware in as many different ways as we can. So. Again, thanks for being here. We'll kind of go through before I start calling on a couple people. If anybody has an update that you want to give, then dive in. Otherwise, I'm going to start singling people out.
Okay, I just want to give a little bit of an update on what HR has been looking at, kind of geared towards the medical and our insurance stuff. We've been able to finally get to tap into some of the wellness funds that Anthem provides through the contract, and we've sent out some stuff lately on sleep, how it affects your health, and some good recipes on blender smoothies, you know, and good nutrition and stuff. And we've been able to get some pretty good wellness items to give out to the employees who can acknowledge that they've got this stuff. And also, as of February the 1st, I hadn't got this out to the employees yet, but Chris is aware of it. We talked about it, I hadn't talked about it in the last week or so, but we have added an employee assistance program through Anthem as well, and that's effective February the 1st, and we'll try to get it out on the website in the next couple of days and out the information out to all the employees. And then I gave y'all a summary of the last 2 years. We actually implemented a new pharmacy benefit plan in 2022. Our broker brought it to us and we tried it out, and I gave you a graph and to show you the differences in it. You can see that it worked out really well.
Yeah, just for those that can't see it right now, in 2021, the prescription medication coverage from the county was $1.3 million. In 2022, it was $483,000. So it was cut by about a little over $800,000 in that 1 year, switching that one program. And from talking to employees, the cost to employees went down probably more than that, percentage-wise. The cost for prescriptions went down. So it's been a great program. I know we've got it for this year for 2023, but if we continue to see that trend, I think that's the opposite of some of the things we've seen in the last couple of years for sure.
Yes.
I know that Matt Bidwell has worked with MSI, not MSI.
Yes,
MSI, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Working closely with Paula and Kim. They've done a phenomenal job saving money and providing better service at the same time. So thank you for that very much. Any HR questions or anything you guys have? Sir, Mr. D.
I don't have much, but I think Lonnie's got a update on the GIS. He received a phone call today, so I'll let him give y'all an update on that.
Okay, did receive a phone call. They're gonna be in the office February the 14th with the computer, the new program, and give some instructions on how to download everything from the GPS handhelds. They did get it working good, so everything's on board, and they'll be here that day, and at least that day, to start training on that part of it. And then if anybody's got any questions, if you'll get them to me, or we can get them to him and he can answer them or whatever. So it's going to start the training. I don't know how long it'll take. He seems to think it won't take very long at all, because everything he's done said it was real simple. He got the information from Christy, he got it downloaded. So, I mean, everything's working real good.
Very good. So I don't know if we've been going back and forth on this for a while with Lonnie's working with, I can't remember the name of it there now.
is Hayes Lambert is a company in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Met with them, but I can't remember what the company is. I was looking at Roy because Roy was in the meeting, but it's still drawing blank. To get the actual GIS mapping system software in place. I know Christie's been working with it in the 911 center, trying to get all utilities mapped and then start to branch out as we get the water system in. Then we'll start working on getting our roads where we've got it pinpoint accuracy as to a lot of different things in there. And if you're gonna have it February 14th, I'm assuming you'll be finished with the whole county by March 1st.
2027.
But to give us better data points, that way they can go and if you have a water issue, they can get it fixed right off the bat. We can update what different line sizes are, because currently, if Philip were to have a health issue or something, they would be struggling to find where everything's at, because it's in his head. And anybody that's met and talked to Philip knows that's really fragile. We're hoping to get that to where we're in line. Also works closely with the Planning and Development Office with Tyler Technologies as we're going through to switch over our software system. It's reliant on the GIS side, so we had to have this component in place to be able to start putting our planning and zoning information in and get us up to speed. So that'll be very helpful and give us better tools to see.
And also on top, me and Lonnie was talking earlier, they can add different layers, like the roads, culverts, whatnot. So if anybody's got anything that they want us to add or have Lonnie to add, he's gonna make a list and we can add to that list if that layer's available, or they can create that layer. That way we have every layer and we don't have to go, and it might not happen for 3, 4, 5 years, but if you can think of it or you come up with something, we can go ahead and have it. And then when we get to that point, we don't have to wait and you know, have it put on there. We'll already have that layer on there. Because we've done, I think, Lonnie, we've got what, 5 or 6 different layers that we've discussed earlier of putting on there. So
Anybody that, when you're trying to think through what layers, if you're not familiar with it, if you go to the tax assessor site now and look at QPublic, and you can see where Tri-State's uploaded the system and the data that's put in with all the tax parcels and all the different information. That's the type of way you can click on each layer that you want to see overlaid on top of each other, and so it builds that. This is going to create a utility-specific version of that. That's not necessarily on the public display, but it's for us to be able to work with, and then all the different internal layers, and then we'll be able to grow it from there. So we'll be there hopefully soon. Earlier than what Lonnie said, but a little longer than what I said. So we're in between those two. I think we'll get it squared away. I think we realized Christie had a bunch of the legwork done from the 911 center as far as fire hydrants and all that too.
I was gonna give it to the end of March. Y'all got it a little bit shorter. So
That's gonna help push that project forward by having those GPS locations on all fire hydrants will help a lot. So we good. All right. Any questions? What? How's registration going?
So, still have registration going on for baseball, softball, and t-ball. We'll run it through the 16th. That will be considered early registration. And then the 17th and the 19th adds $10, but that's late registration. And then on the 19th, we're shutting everything down, getting ready for skills evaluation and draft, which will be the following week. Still need coaches. I mean, we need coaches every single year. It'd be great if they had baseball experience. If they don't, that's fine, as long as they're a good parent and out there for the right reasons. So if y'all know anybody's interested in coaching, tell them to come talk to me. Finished up with rec league basketball this past Monday. Thank you to the Progress for sending a photographer down there. They did a huge spread on the paper with a bunch of action shots of the kids. We crowned champions in 5 of our leagues. Everything went pretty smooth. So it wasn't too bad, but so we're getting out of the rec stuff. We'll be hosting a couple of basketball tournaments in the month of February, but getting ramped up for baseball. So yeah, it's going to be busy.
Lights, did they ever get the part in?
No, we're still waiting on switches. Fields 2 and Fields 3 are still lit, so that'll be good as far as doing our skills evaluation in March. We've told them we're still trying to get them to do a backdoor set up for us by putting a meter out there to make the rest of the field's lit. And we've gave them a hard deadline as the 1st of March, because that's when practices will start for all age groups. So we're still crossing our fingers. So,
And the polls look good.
polls look great.
It looks like it's gonna be great.
And fields 2 and 3, when they're lit, I mean, it's, when the old lights are in, it kind of lit everything up around the field. Now it just lights up just the field. So it's really neat how they got the technology now that it's kind of like the football field. If you've been at the football field at the high school, once you get outside the playing surface, it's really dark. So it's going to make a big improvement down there.
And as we approach the spring, now that they've got all the lines running, start getting bids out on walking path repairs.
Yes, that'll be coming up. Just this past week, I got with another fence provider to see about getting the backstops replaced on some of our older looking fields that has that overhang. We're trying to get those taken out to kind of spruce that up. But yeah, we'll be needing to get with the Board of Commissioners as far as getting bid packages ready, get them set out so we start getting some stuff. And hopefully, when we get to the warmer weather, we're getting that project put out and get that done sooner rather than later. Now that all the heavy, electrical stuff is already in the ground. So,
Thank you.
sir.
I've just got something short for the animal shelter. We're doing a low-cost adoptions right now. So that's through Saturday, and it's just $25. That's fully vetted, that's fixed, shots, everything. And we need some room so we can take in some more dogs. And then we also got a new hire, so that's going to give us the chance to focus more on off-site adoptions.
Questions? Animal shelter. Sorry, my phone was buzzing with text messages at the same time. I was trying to listen and glance. So, is it, you said just through Saturday?
It's going to be through Saturday, yeah. We started it, I think, Friday of last week, and we've had quite a bit over Saturday of last weekend. And then this weekend, I think we'll have a good bit come up and adopt as well.
Were you able to convince our county chief marshal to come and pick up his dog?
Not yet.
Okay.
So you are having good feedback?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot. I think throughout the week, everyone's busy, but Saturdays we normally have quite a bit. So, and last Saturday, that's probably the most we've had in a long time.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson. We've been working on the road paving project list and getting everything prepped and ready, so.
Yeah, we've got everything to the engineers right now. We're kind of waiting for them to get the details squared away, but right now it's looking like we're going, of course, we're going to redo Cove Road, resurface Cove Road, restripe it. That should be a nice, smooth road by the end of this summer for anyone who might be interested in that. The other one we're looking at is Jerusalem Church Road. We're going to do something similar to Cove Road, but we're not going to leave it a year in between the steps. We're going to try to patch it and then immediately drop back and do a resurface on it. Off of Cove Road, we're also going to do the little road going up to Corinth Church. It's just like a quarter of a mile or something like that, but that's probably going to be most of our roads for this year because that's going to be a very expensive ordeal in and of itself between those two roads. And as far as other business going on, we've cleaned out lots of culverts the last few weeks after that big rain, and we're still digging out from that and grinding trees. That's what's going on in my world.
I know those are the two, they're both 8 miles long, so I mean, they're neither of those roads are short, and so to do those does take a big project for one time. I know normally we try to do a wider number of roads, but because these are two of our longest and most heavily traveled county roads, we've got to get those back up to par. In that same meeting, we've identified numerous other roads. I mean, we know that we're not unaware that there are other roads that need work too. We're trying to identify and put them on a priority list and keep them so that if our funding is higher than what we currently know it is, then we can try to get out to bid to get some more on there. And then looking at some chip seal projects, some tar and gravel projects that'll be in addition to the resurfacing ones that will go out to bid. So we've got a busy spring and summer planned to try to get those pieces together. We've also got some equipment. I mean, we've got some aging equipment that's apparently dump trucks this time of year just fall apart and snap into all kinds.
I was telling Bill, you know, there's some weeks that are just real smooth and real simple. This has been nothing like one of those weeks.
When's the last time you had one of those weeks?
I couldn't tell you.
When he was on vacation.
I was supposed to say.
And his phone was off, and
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
one time. Yeah, we had a regular loaded dump truck the other day that just kind of snapped in, so they've been working to try to get that looked at. It's never the cheap equipment that goes down, it's the expensive stuff, so that's what we're trying to work through there. Anybody else have an update? No, I've got,
I mentioned
Wes had presented this one. Let's go first. I'll let Tim go first, and then I'll get you next.
I was gonna bring attention, you know, if you look at the paper this week, we made the front page. We brought it up at the last board meeting about the Lucas device that Northside was giving us money to purchase, and we'd already had one that Northside had donated. We used that one that we've got right now 4 or 5 times so far. We've had one success, one person we brought back and still alive as far as I know. So kind of proud of that. Our goal is to get one of those in all of our ambulances this year. We can make that happen. So working on that, several grants and some begging. I'm working on it, but starting to get a lot of applicants in now. It's all part-time right now, but we've already hired 3 working full-time, and got another part-time starting next week. And I had an interview this morning, part-time, a firefighter from DeKalb County. So we're getting applicants coming in now. Help us with our staffing, feeling better about that. But most of it's part-time. We did get 3 full-timers so far this year.
Good.
So feeling pretty good about it.
Good positive trend, for sure.
What's
I
that?
know in our last meeting, we talked about the fire staffing and animal control, shelter staffing, and so seeing both picking up hires is good.
Still a long way to go. Still a lot of overtime, but feeling better about it
Good.
coming in.
Good. Thank you.
Say, I went by Station 11 and talked to Captain Grant the other day, and he showed me the Lucas device. That is a very impressive piece of equipment.
It's spooky. Hopefully it never has to work on me. But,
I don't know who came up with the idea for that, but it's brilliant, whoever did it, so.
but the first time we used it was the success we had with it.
Really?
So it's like, yeah, you know, but we haven't been as lucky with it before since then. But there's one person
Sometimes
today
the call
alive.
comes in after it's already too late to get any device.
Right.
All right, Mr. Fry, sorry about that.
Y'all have the report, so I'll be as brief as I can. It's 62 building permits and several miscellaneous. A month, it's been slow, but not slow. It was better than it was last year in January. So it's kind of surprising us, and y'all hit us on the same day. It looks like, oh, y'all did 2 a day. No, there were probably 17 on one day and 1 for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Any questions on there?
So 23 of them were renewals for building permits, having renewed that reaching their expiration. That's looking at that. Are we seeing that that's going down any, or is material, are they're able to finish them faster, or is it still holding where people are having to stall long periods?
The materials are easy to get, but I think people are still building as they go, you know, as they have money for. And it's still 18 months to build a house.
The patience to be there. Got anything? Anybody else?
We're finished out with just over 19,500 calls, 911 calls for the year.
Is that all? That's impressive.
The total calls per service, which includes all the traffic stops and all that stuff, was
$115,222. That makes up for the 911.
Okay. I'd say you did, we made up for it on that one. Good, thank you.
And we have a new one starting next week.
Had somebody bragging on one of the dispatchers the other day that had called and, he called in on an emergency medical situation and talked about how incredibly professional and calm and it made the situation better. So they're supposed to be sending us something in writing that we can then recognize and award. So we'll bring that out when it comes in.
Good to hear.
Yes, sir.
We'll switch back to roads for just a second. If the chairman or Commissioner Tippins that represents the West End happens to see the chairman of the Transportation Committee down at the state capitol, you might ask him about Highway 53 in western Pickens County.
So got an update yesterday, actually. Between now and June, they have it targeted to resurface from Hill City to town, is what they're showing on their list. So resurface coming from Hill City all the way back toward town, going back toward the county line. They don't have it targeted on their list for this year, but they do have, they gave an update yesterday at a meeting I was at that it is supposed to be done. They're saying June, so whenever the state's paving season comes in, that may be when they start it, but hopefully we'll have that knocked out. So at least part of it's supposed to be done this year.
Thank goodness.
I did get that just yesterday. Good time.
Service with a smile.
They don't happen very often. But no, we had a meeting with the DOT yesterday to go over some of their projects that they've either currently got going or that are on the radar that they're about to start or that they've pushed down the road for a few years. So they're going over just on a draft form for most of that, but that particular project was one of their projects that's already scheduled this year. So, but do have a meeting with the other individual tomorrow too.
Yeah.
So we'll have that squared away. Anybody else? Anything that you guys have that you want to bring up? So it's been one of those months where the emails come back and forth. I think that if I'm receiving them, you guys are typically receiving them too, with some of the questions more than complaints recently. So that's been a good. Of course, there's always a mixture of both, but it's.
I'd say thank you, because everybody that I have forwarded one of those emails to has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
responding.
very prompt in replying to us. I appreciate that.
Good.
Makes this job much easier.
All right. Well, with that said, unless there's anything further, do you have anything for the session? We have our 5:30 meeting, the actual board meeting, and then the agendas are on the front. Anybody that wants to grab those, feel free to grab it. But we'll go ahead and adjourn the work session and look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.